Well, boys and girls, it is time for another episode of Ink Transfer Drawing with Mark Zimmerman. This is ink that I'm rolling out on a sheet of plexiglass, and I'm going to drop a sheet of paper on top of that plexiglass, on top of the ink. Then I'm going to draw and rub on the back of this paper and transfer the ink to the front, making an ink transfer drawing. And then I'll splash a little watercolor on it, and that's that. Quick and fun and easy. Simple. So that ink is inside a rectangle of tape. And I'm just going to drag this pen along the edge of that tape so I know where the ink is at. And then I'm going to draw, I've got a picture, a photograph of, it looks like a lobster. So I'm going to draw this little lobster here. Wow. Wow, they are strange creatures. A lot of people, a lot of artists anyway, would tell you that you've never seen anything until you've had to draw it. So I guess I have never really looked at a lobster. I have a little bridge here. If I set my hand down, any pressure on the back of that paper transfers ink to the front. So if I set my hand down, I transfer a blob of ink to the front of that paper. And I don't really want to do that way. So I've got a little bridge lets me keep my hand in the air without much effort. Wow. Antenna. Wow. Who knew? Ooh, doggy. Man, how many legs these things got? So I'm leaving out some details. There's a lot of details in this photo. A lot more than I want to draw. A lot more than you want to stick around and watch me draw, too. Wow. So it'd be pretty cool to have those on the end of your arms, huh? Hmm. So I'm looking at a little dark spots too, and I'm going to transfer those. Some of that darkness I can transfer just by touching the paper. So if like I said, if I rest my hand on the back, I transfer ink. If I touch it, I transfer ink too. So I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 legs on a side. Wow. Counting the big pincher things, which I need to revisit here just a little. There we go. And that claw is bigger than that, or this claw is littler than this one. This is the big claw here. There's a little texture up in here I think I want to draw. Okay. All right. Wow, and he's even got two more little antennae in here too. 4 antennae. I don't know that this is a lobster. It might be a crawdad. Probably be good if I knew what I was doing, huh? Alrighty. Kind of looks more like a crawdad, maybe. I used to play around with crawdads when I was a kid, find them in the lake. Oop, and someone's coming into the studio, and the puppy's going to see who that is. Okay. So here's those other little antennae here. And I see just part of a couple legs here. So there's one leg on top of another leg there. I see a little bit of a leg here. Oh, the puppy's crying because my wife just left without her. Left her in the studio with me. That's no fun. Not if you're a puppy. Okay, well, we got the hard part. Let's get going here. This is a drawing where that little bridge comes in pretty handy. A lot of details. Oh, and the pup's gonna go lay down, that's good. I always tell kids not to count, and I'm counting how many plates there are here. Just draw plates till you run out of room. That's what I would tell the kids. See if I can take my own advice. Boy, what a strange creature this thing is. And one more here. I would not have guessed there was one more on this side. Oh, I see it on this side. It's right here. Huh. It is even. There we go. A couple more legs. This one we just see a bit of. This one we see all of. It's kind of weird. The part of the leg attached to the body is smaller than the part out here. Kind of that Popeye thing going on. So a little tiny, it gets wider, that's weird. Two more little legs, one comes right out of here. And, he might be missing some of this one. Of course, I thought that about his tail too, didn't I? Okay. Get rid of that bridge. I don't know that I want to add much dark beyond what I've got. I also don't. I'm going to just do this. So I'm transferring ink, just the heel on my hand. And I'm going to peek, see what we've done. It's always kind of a mystery to see what what goes on underneath there. Oh, okay. I think we're good. I'm going to get the ink out of here and splash a little watercolor paint on that. I'll show you what I was looking at. You will notice that it all comes out backwards. So right or left is right and right is left. So I'm going to have to paint it backwards too. Now it kind of naturally comes out backwards when you draw it. It just happens that way. But little yellow there. So I'm just putting in little bright spots on him. Or maybe it's her, I don't know. Let's get a little more yellow in my brush. Okay, let's switch to a little orange. Give that a little stir. What I've got is two watercolors, but I've got them in solution already. So, whoa, that's a lot of paint, Mark. See if I can spread that somewhere. And I'll tell you what, if I miss little spots, and I am missing little spots, they're just kind of little white spots that are going to be left in the end, that's going to be just fine with me. Those just becomes parts that sparkle a little bit, and paintings that sparkle are actually kind of nice, so we'll let it sparkle. That brush a little rinse. I'm going to exaggerate the color a little bit here. He's not really red, but I'm going to play with a little red here. little more red. A little more red than that. There we go. And let's look at his little claw. Pretend those antennae are not really even there for now. Paint right over them. Let's look over here at his big claw. If we had a little more time, I might actually blow dry this between this red and the next color. But I don't think we have time for me to run around the studio with a hairdryer. Next color, a little purple. There's just a little purple here. Just kind of dulls that yellow down a touch. And darkens things a little bit. And let's look at the little claw first this time. And then the big claw. There's a hint of green, just a teeny bit. That's too much. Okay. I'm checking that green on a little piece of paper off to the side. You can't quite see. I think it's out of camera. Little bits of green on those legs. I don't see green anywhere else really. Then I'm going to grab a board. So I'm going to do what's called a wash. And so I want this paint to run. I want it to run where I want it to run, so I'm going to be able to tip this board in various directions and control how and where it runs. So, better start about here maybe. A little bit of red running into the blue, and that's just fine with me. So I'm tipping that paper so that blue wants to run. In that direction. And I'm going to pick up just a little water, make my blue a little lighter. Water just makes the paint more transparent. I don't actually have any white paint, but I can let the white paper show through from underneath, and that makes it seem lighter. It's the same exact pigment. There's a nice little red bleed into the blue. I like that a lot. A little more paint now. I don't know about you, can you hear that thunder? A little more paint. A little more paint. You can see how gravity is doing some of the work of moving this paint around, huh? I think there's on the other side of that, or on the other side of that little photograph, I think there's a little write-up on what this is. I should have looked before I started painting it, huh? But before I sign it, I'll figure out what it really is. Just a real simple monochrome wash. I'm just putting blue out here in this background. I just picked up a little more paint, and then I'll pick up a little water. Ooh, and I'm going to have too much paint when I get to the end here. I'll just let it run down into that corner. I can hear some sprinkles.